Greetings everyone, Tony here. I'm still not an expert in coffee, but since I mentioned UCC coffee in the video about Moondrop coffee, and I don't think I had them for a decade, I thought we would revisit it with a new perspective as a coffee enthusiast using some more proper equipment. So UCC coffee has three products in the Craftsman coffee lineup, with the blue referred to the mild, the red referred to the sweet aroma, rich roasted, and the green you see here referenced as the deep, rich, special roasted. Lots of words. From the description, red would seem to be the most interesting, but I don't believe they're officially distributed outside of Asia, so I wasn't able to get my hands on them. I think the ones I had 10 years ago were the blue ones, but I'm not too sure anymore. This bag here was purchased from the international food section from a local Loblaw superstore for $8.99, which ends up to be 56 cents Canadian per bag. On their website, they mention 100% refined coffee beans, whatever that means. No mention of Arabica, which is kind of interesting to me. When I was younger, that's kind of where all the commercial coffee are going. It's like 100% Arabica, but they didn't mention it here. So there might be some Robusta content here. A blend of dry and wet process with more than 50% dry process. For us Western coffee people, I believe that means more than 50% natural processes, which is also interesting. A wet process being washed is what is most common. And the double roasting method. I believe I've heard that term in James Hoffman's giant Nespresso pod tasting, but from a specialty perspective, I really haven't heard that too much. Now, things gets a little bit challenging as the package is all in Japanese, except the importation marks on the back. English sources from UCC's official website is quite lacking. There isn't like a North America official page either. For example, I didn't find a full English brewing instructions. Some retailers did try to give some, but they're kind of conflicting with each other and doesn't seem 100% accurate regardless. For example, lacking the timing or the liquid amount. With the help of Google Image Translate, the instruction looks very similar to Moondrop coffee. Tap to drop the coffee grounds, 20-second bloom. Again, no mention of how much to bloom with, and add 140 milliliters of water in 2 to 3 pours. I can't really tell if it's a total liquid or after the bloom, but since the web page also mentions only 140 milliliters of hot water is required, I will make the educated guess of 140 milliliters of water in total. These, in comparison to the Moondrop coffee, actually have less coffee in them. 7 grams as indicated on the package, which for 140 milliliters would be a 1 to 20 brew ratio, which is a little crazy to me. The Moondrop coffee is pretty lean too. I mentioned it was a little weak at the time. And hindsight being 2020, I should have aimed for maybe 160 milliliter of water in total for a 1 to 16 brew ratio. But in that video linked here, we went for a 180 total, which is 1 to 18 brew ratio. Similar to last time, we have freshly boiled water, filtered, and we found the best cup for this, so we are gonna keep using that. Harrow air for the water pouring, and a scale to measure everything. Last time I was barely able to cover all the coffee with a 2-to-1 bloom, so I might go a little bit more aggressive this time, 3-to-1. Because it's less coffee, it's still gonna be that 21 gram range. Okay, so all Japanese on here, not too helpful overall. Bitterness of 4 out of 5, acidity of 2 out of 5, and the last one, it's not kanji, so I can't read it. I believe it has something to do with body, but I'm gonna probably put an annotation up here. No need to be careful with the packaging this time because we have plenty of spares in case we break it. Easy to tear off, that's good. Good quality plastic, I guess. The air seems to be a little bit easier than the Moondrop, but they don't have a fold line, I don't think. So they don't fold as nicely. And start. Again, 20-second bloom. Last time I overdid it. "40 seconds in, we're 100 milliliters in. It seems to drain through a lot faster than the Moondrop coffee. I don't get as much of a hit of aroma to start. It's also more of a traditional aroma of like older style, more bitter coffee, if you will. So the drink speed is extremely fast in comparison. We're at 125 right now. And I think last time when it's all the way through, it's over 3 minutes. And I think this is gonna be 2-minute max. Caught it. 2 minute, 2:05 right now. There's nothing flowing, so we're gonna decant it. We're gonna take a look. Okay, still very clear cup. So traditional behavior for a paper filter brew. You have this traditional coffee aroma to it. We'll give it a test. We'll take a look. All right, again decanted. Same thing, not a lot of aroma. A little bit of bitterness in the aroma. Again, it's still very weak. I don't know. If you market this as a coffee master's coffee, you have no acidity that I can detect. It's just very weak. Not a lot of bitterness, not a lot of taste in overall. Maybe my taste bud is just broken. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, we have a second sample. Now I get the whole cup. I'm kind of disappointed. How much is a K-cup these days? I need to search it up, but it's clean. That's, I guess, the redeeming feature. It's clean like a paper filter brew. I really don't recall how I drank the old coffees I had. Maybe I added milk, probably. Lots of sugar, maybe. But it's just very weak coffee. Not a lot of taste, a little bit of bitterness. The bitterness is still kind of the predominant taste. I guess Moondrop, in my opinion, kind of won this one. Maybe my mind would be changed if I can get some of their more specialty drip coffee bags, or maybe the red one is significantly better than the green ones. Well, after the disappointment, we have still quite a bit of coffee left, so I thought we have to do something with them. The coffee in stock configuration drained very quickly and left us with a very weak cup, so we're gonna use some advanced techniques, maybe a Harrier switch to control the brew time and brew ratio. Considering the coffee is pretty dark roasted, it's likely more soluble, and I will go with a modified James Hoffman switch recipe. I believe those are 7 grams, around that per pack, so we're going to use 2. So around 15 grams of coffee, 14 grams, 1:16 kind of a ratio, 250 grams of water or a little bit less than that in, 2 minutes steep, and I still do a 3-to-1, very full kind of bloom in the first 30 seconds with a swirl, just to make sure everything is going to be saturated. Okay, so glass Harrier switch. We're using the very crinkly bagged Japanese whiz tab a filter, which is my standard filters. Onto the scale we go. I have pre-rinsed the filter, so that's all good. Let's see. Let's measure how much coffee is in the coffee. One bag in, 7.6 grams, so we should total about 15 grams, which is actually perfect. Second bag. Not a huge hit of aroma, but more of a traditional kind of, even I dare to say more of a instant coffee kind of aroma. All right, here we go. I'll say it's very fine ground, not that I would usually make a switch with this kind of a ground profile. As you can see, I guess the coffee isn't absorbing a lot of liquid. You can see it's all pulling out on the outside already. It's kind of interesting. That was the bloom. Top it up all the way up to 40 grams. Oh, a little bit more. And 2 minutes. Time for the switch. Drink speed is a little quick. I think still considered as acceptable for a switch, but considering how fine the grounds are, it's actually surprisingly decent, I want to say. About a 2-minute drain down, not too bad. A little bit slower than my regular 1-minute 30 drain down. But yeah, let's take a closer look. Color's not bad. Again, filter brew, Hario paper. It's pretty clean. A little bit of a darker color than I expected, to be honest. But considering what the last taste we got was more bitterness, it's understandable. Oh, taste test number 2. Well, number 3. Yeah, not a ton of aroma. More of a, again, classic instant coffee kind of smell to it. Okay. At least I can taste something. I don't want to say it's hugely bitter, but it is kind of a harsh bitterness I haven't experienced in a while. Also considering after I started drinking black coffee, I've really only drank specialty. So I know James Hoffman always talk about how there's a chemical bitterness versus there's a roasty bitterness. I couldn't really tell, but it is definitely quite bitter. I thought I got a tiny little bit of acidity to start, but I don't think there's really that much there. Considering their claim 50% or more natural processes, I don't know, maybe these are just roasted so dark that they've lost it in that sense. I don't know. Yeah, still disappointed considering the 2 packs of coffee is slightly over $1 Canadian here, and you can make yourself a good cup of Russell, Calgary roasted specialty, natural process, wash process, all kinds you want. For that price, as a daily driver, I would not recommend it.